Hello, hello. How are you people tonight? How is all my audience members tonight? How's everybody doing out there? Hopefully, y'all have been some gaming warriors every single day. I have a little bit to talk about re9 since I've been playing it a bunch since it's been basically out. Now, don't get me wrong. Capcom did an excellent job. I love Resident Evil 9. I've enjoyed it so much that I'm on my second playthrough, and I'm doing it on standard modern. And the thing is, I love it. It's enjoyable. The way that it tests you, it doesn't hold your hand and stuff like that, and you have to figure out, you know, pretty much it challenges your mind and stuff like that, where, you know, you go about figuring out the puzzles by yourself, stuff like that. A little bit of things that kind of get to me. Capcom, like I said, you guys did an excellent job. But in a way, I think that you could have maybe made Grace's run maybe a little quicker. Um, Certain things like I noticed where Leon's able to sharpen his weapon up and stuff like that. There are certain skills that Leon has that Grace doesn't. You know, so there's kind of the off balance thing, in my opinion, that I don't think is too cool. Um, I think that could be equaled out a little bit. Because the thing of it is, the way Grace runs away on a slow pace, when you're trying to outrun the big guys and stuff like that as Grace, it kind of feels like it gets you caught quicker. You know, it gets you caught a little bit faster by the zombies. With Leon, however, yeah, Leon, you could go around just kicking the crap out of them, bring out the axe and stuff like that, and you could take them down in no time. You know, and you're doing a quicker thing with Leon. Now, I get it because Leon's this, like, bad A type of guy. He's an officer and stuff like that. And I get it because Grace is the one that was behind the desk and she's really never been out on field assignments. But, you know, hey, that's just my opinion. That's just what I think of it. Other than that, they did excellent work. They made the game not only feel like a game, but when you do the cinematics and the cutscenes in between it, that's where it makes it feel like it's a movie and not just a game. Because you're sitting there and you're watching the story unfold, and it's like, whoa, like it's blow your mind type of thing. Because you're immersed in this story as you're going through it. So you're not just unlocking, each area, but you're also diving deeper and deeper into an awesome story written by Capcom. Capcom, you did not disappoint when you made Resident Evil 9. I have been a fan of your older games before, but thanks to you, Capcom, you made me a fan of Resident Evil again. Thanks to you, I'm back to playing Resident Evil again, a game that for years I've sat down, but now have picked back up and started playing again. So, honestly, it's great, except for a few minor things. You know, a few minor skills that I think Grace would be cool to have. You know, Grace having this alter ego. You got a shy girl, one side of her, a shy woman, one side of her, but whenever she's got to turn on the heat, I noticed when you get further through the game too, you do start seeing another side of her, where she'll start unleashing the rage and the anger, and then she'll start going after the zombies and attacking them, beating them up, and stuff like that. I think that was awesome. You know, to really see Grace turning into that. That was awesome. And then having fun with Leon being this bad A. You know, Leon being this dude that'll just like go and kick these zombies' heads clean off. And when you're not even shooting zombies' heads clean off, like I'm telling you, it is fun. Even when I played Village, you know, Resident Evil Village, I've had fun with that. Yeah, I still have to learn how to really get swift when it comes to running that on hardcore. But I also want to address something else. The elephant in the room, so to speak. Take-Two Interactive. I have really been getting frustrated. I have 2K25. Don't get me wrong. There was a time I would be so excited to be playing a 2K wrestling game. I would enjoy it a lot. But the agitation for the past few days that I have had with 2K and Take-Two Interactive in general, I have been trying to reset my email for 2 days straight. And I have not been able to get a verified email link or code for verifying my email. What is going on, 2K? What is going on with your system? Yeah, this is crazy. You want people to invest in your games. You want them to play them. But the thing of it is, when you got a flaw that people can't even like get their emails verified at times, or some people like me have the issue of doing that, it makes it hard for people to want to sit there and play. I know personally, me, it does. I don't know if any of you have ever had this issue with emails or anything like that, but I know it's agitated me for the past few days. Yeah, because I've tried everything to get that like verified email code, because I've been wanting to get back on, you know, the wrestling game off and on too, just to enjoy it and put a few hours in here and there on that. So, yeah, it's also another thing that has really kind of gotten, it's kind of made me get steamed up a little bit, because you know, if I can't get it verified, it's like, then I can't go back to playing my wrestling games like I've always enjoyed. Yeah, and it's like, okay, what's the sense of me even installing it on my system if I can't even verify my email or get through with even that? Then it's just, you know, ridiculous to even keep, you know, pushing and trying. So 2K, hopefully whatever issue it is that you guys have, you get it ironed out or whatever it is. You know, hopefully it gets straightened out and fixed up, if it is a minor issue. Because I've enjoyed playing the wrestling games. So, But right now I'm just agitated with it. You know, that's worn me down amongst other things that wears me down. Oh, sorry about that, chap. Sorry about the yawning. It's been one of those days today. I'm sure you guys have all had those. You know, those particular days where you feel more exhausted than others. You know, where you feel more tired than other days. You know. Let me think too. There's some other things that. Oh yeah. I also wanted to let you know something. Yeah, I kind of got irritated too. I know it's nothing against YouTube because they got a job to do. But I had music that was blaring in the background, and I wasn't playing no song, but my girl's daughter had a certain song. Um, they got me nailed on the channel because of the fact of that. So that's why I had to pull the one video down because it got flagged. But that's why I'm also coming on here making this video so that way there's this video free and clear of like no things to respect you guys at YouTube. You know, I appreciate, this opportunity of just, being able to be a YouTuber is a great thing for me. It's a great outlet. Now, I wanted to discuss going forward. I will be trying to get lives done once a week on a Thursday like this. So I would appreciate if you guys come in to tune into this or if you join me and stuff like that. It would be just helpful if you can share, give a like, make sure your notification bells are switched to all so you'll be notified when new things happen or even when these lives occur. But I also want to say something from the bottom of my heart. All you guys that have continued to stick around no matter how hard things get sometimes and understand how rough things get, I appreciate your support because it makes a difference. You guys have motivated me to become a gamer again. If it wasn't for the people that support me every time I put these videos up, these lives up, and discuss things, then I would not be sitting here with a controller in my hand again. So, I am happy that I'm doing that again. Because I could not ask for anything better than what I got right now. Is this community to be able to come on here and talk about video games, talk about my favorite ones, talk about the opinions of them. So, it would be nice for me to go back to my wrestling again, but the whole email situation, I don't know. I'm hoping I can resolve that so eventually I can get back on that, but yeah, going forward I will try to keep a schedule of like 2 or 3 shorts during the week. Thursdays will be live. I will try to record game chat, or not game chat, but game footage of whatever I'm playing. But right now, off stream without recording, I'm just doing like standard modern Unresident Evil 9. That's pretty much all I'm doing right now at this point. So let's see, I'm trying to think if there's any other things that I wanted to mention, to be honest, because I'm trying to think. But I am excited for June because that's going to be a big month because of the summer showcase, fan fest that's going to happen. I'm looking forward to that. Now, I wouldn't be able to go to that because, financial means, but, I'm sure it's going to be a good one. I'm sure that they're going to show off a lot of awesome stuff. Forza Horizon 6, for all you racing fans out there, that's on the way. Amongst other titles, like this whole year being packed full. Just when you think that we do not have a major overabundance of games, we have so many that are coming, and many more. I just think they should space them out though, but of course, you can think they're going to do that, but of course, that's entirely always up to them. Because every time that you think that they will, they don't do it. But hey, that's them. They don't realize how much of like a crunch that's going to put on people's wallets. Because everybody's got that expense out there. Every time I look at video games and I see how all the titles that are out there, and I honestly think about it, I'm like, okay, this game looks great, looks wonderful. It's greatly designed, but I think, okay, I need stuff for the house. What am I going to choose? Am I going to choose this video game? Or am I going to choose to put some stuff in my house that I need? Especially, I'm a everyday coffee drinker. Alright? Every day I wake up with my son, my 16-year-old teenager. And first thing I have to do when I wake up, besides taking my medicine to help myself, is I got to have that coffee right after that. Because if I don't have my caffeine, guess what? My day don't start. I always tell my friends and my family, I'm like, if you're going to call me on the phone, do me a favor, wait until after I have my coffee first. Because I'll be a crap. Now, I don't know if all the yins are like that out there or not, but me, I got to have my coffee. My day don't begin until that first cup of caffeine starts hitting my system. But that's the way I began. So that's the thing. It's self-sacrifice sometimes, especially for, when you're choosing software for your system over, things for your home. What I try to do is, I consider down the line, I consider putting games on a wish list. Or I consider, okay, if I can't get this now, then I'll just wait until I can financially buy it. Because there will be a point in time where I'm going to be able to afford that game, or I'm going to be able to buy it. Or, you know how Microsoft does where you can earn the gift cards and use the gift cards for add-ons or whatever you want to use them for. Now, the thing of it is you can't use it for Game Pass because we all know the fact of the matter is they took that option away. But what I do like is I've used the gift cards for like add-ons for the games that I have ownership of that I bought. And I used it to do add-ons for Resident Evil Village. I've used add-ons for other games to have add-ons for games that I already own. So, sorry about that, chat. again. But yeah, I've done that to where I've used the gift cards for putting add-ons to my games. Because I'm like, okay, I'll do this, I'll earn my points, because then there we go, I'm saving money right there. I'm saving myself an extra couple of dollars every time by just simply working my way by gaming and earning gift cards. Yeah, and that makes it easier for myself. Then I'm not having to worry about how much money gets pulled away from my account, or pulled away from important items, and then I just work my way up until I can afford whatever it is I need. Then that way, down the road, if I can afford whatever it is I want to go after, I'll just go after it in a point in time when I can afford it. So, I mean, I really love what they've done with games. I'm enjoying what they're continuing to do. It's not the hardware, it's the software. Just like you hear from Mag, just like you're going to hear from me. The hardware is awesome what Xbox is doing. But the biggest thing is the software, the quality of the games that come out. There is no excuse for when you get these games that have bugs in them or issues in them, because look at the technology sitting here today, that they could take these games and make them feel like a movie/game. If you can do that with Resident Evil 9, if Capcom, mind you, could take a game like Resident Evil and make it feel like a movie/video game, what's to say that any other developers can't? With the technology that is out there. All it takes is a little bit of hard work, but I'll tell you the biggest reason. Because all of these greedy corporate bosses at these companies, they don't want to spend the extra overhead money it's going to take. They don't want to pay for the extra marketing. They want to keep their pockets lined instead of doing what they need to do for benefiting the gamers. Because at the end of the day, it's not about trying to benefit the gamers. They want to do what's going to benefit their bottom line for their company. Now, you can sit here, you could say, oh, you don't know nothing, you don't know all about this. But think about it in this way, too. What does a greedy politician do with the money for this country? But I'm going to stop right there with that, because you know what? I'm not going too far. Because I have respect to not go too far. But if you think about it, just think about this in your own time. Because these people at the corporate offices, it's greed. We're fueled by greed. Greed and envy. But, there's so much great games that gets cranked out each and every day, let alone each and every month. And some of them bomb. A portion of them will bomb because the thing of it is, it was not made tough enough to withstand the test of time. And that's why instead of them spending the extra money to go back to the drawing board or to repair or fix something, they're like, all right, well, we're not going to spend too much to have to try to invest and fix this one, because why do that when we could just make another? That's just how crazy it is. Then before you know it, that's why you have like constant versions of something that's in existence. That's how they do with the iPhones, the TVs, computers, all your electronics, technology, iPads. Like everything you see in existence is brought out there, is basically brought out there because of an idea that that some bigwig decided to do instead of going with something that was not going to work at all. So they just chose to go with the better alternative instead of the worse alternative in something. But you know what? It's not going to make me ever stop gaming. Because I will still believe that quality games can be made and exist. I'm waiting till Asha Sharma by next year grabs a clipboard, goes around to these studios, figures out what's happening at the studios and says, okay, well, you know what? It's time for you to figure out why these are not coming out as good as they are. Why are we not selling as much as we should? And she should also consider trying to look into maybe better marketing schemes. If anybody remembers back whenever Xbox first started, how their marketing used to be, where you'd see it anywhere and everywhere. Like they never would have such a tight budget of marketing on their products. Now you're lucky if you see a decent amount of their products out. I think they need to also do that too. And she should maybe consider make sure that they're on board with the latest and greatest style. Because every day, styles change. Now, if anyone out in my audience can understand that, the way styles change now. Because every day in the world, there's always a brand new style. There's always people with different haircuts, different clothes, different shoes, different accessories, different backpacks, and all kinds of different items. Because nowadays, it's hard to keep up with the trend. Because what is the trend when every day the trend changes? Especially when the world changes right around it. So you got to evolve and adapt to the way times are. Because, it's either that or boom, you'll get swallowed by the way the world is if you don't adapt to the way it's starting to go. Those are just a few things I wanted to get off my chest. If you guys want to come in here and just have a conversation with me, pick my brain, or you just want to come in here and talk games with me, feel free. If you got any questions or anything, my channel is always open for everyone. I just want people to know I will continue to work hard on getting a live done every Thursday. I will try to get some more videos out there. I just want people to also understand that I have only so many games at the moment that are on my Xbox. But if you guys can shoot me some ideas, I'd appreciate it. I don't know why I'm feeling so tired tonight, chat, but boy, oh boy, But I'm just looking forward, to the games that are going to be coming out in the long run. Um, I'm looking forward to seeing what changes are going to be made, decisions that are going to be made. Um, and yeah, she's not going to make these changes right away either. She'll have to go through an assessment process as she talks to studios. She'll have to assess each and every studio to figure out on a case-by-case basis to figure out what's going on with each of them. Why the production value has gone down so much. But I think as she does that, and as she figures that stuff out, I see her getting to the real root and figuring out how to get Xbox back to the original Xbox. I remember the OG Xbox, the big OG original Xbox. I actually had owned one at one time. That thing was a brick. But I loved it because that was the first time that I fell in love with Xbox. Now, could I figure out the controls for the life of me? No. Or in the infamous words of Stone Cold Steve Austin, hell no. Because when I looked at that controller, my eyes went cross-eyed. Severely cross-eyed. Because I was like, what the hell is this button structure? And then, of course, once I got the hang of the structure, once I figured out the structure and stuff like that of the buttons, how they were, and the sticks and stuff of it, once I knew all that and I started getting the hang of it, I was like, Like, I was like, whoa. Like, I was blown away. How a system could be that awesome and sit there and you can play these games that were so awesome like that. And the worlds that you could get into were really something. I even remember playing Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon. I even played Tomb Raider. My aunt, she was addicted to Tomb Raider. I can remember, it was a holiday dinner, and my aunt came over, and she saw the Xbox. And she's like, hey, do you mind if I sit here and play the Xbox? I'm like, sure. What game do you want to play? Oh, I'll check out Tomb Raider. I was like, here, Auntie, check out Tomb Raider. So she checked out Tomb Raider, and boy, oh boy, I'll tell you what, when she started getting into that, and she started getting further and further, I could remember my first time when I played, and how much fun I had the first time. And the thing of it is, as she was getting into it, she started to be just like I was when I first began. And that's what the real, total, awesome part was she was getting into it just like I did when I first started. So see, that's how awesome it is that when you get into something, that even your family members can join you, especially if you got gamers in your family. If you got people, oh, sorry about that, especially, especially if you got people in your family that are gamers like you are, it makes it even more fun. Yeah, because then they can have as much fun as you do. Yeah, they can enjoy the games that you enjoy and stuff like that. So that's what makes it awesome. Because it's not just yourself that enjoys them, but so does your family. So, but yeah, it's really been something. And another thing is too, 2K, I won't get it. The way that you've had these wrestling games going, all the other games that I've seen, as far as wrestling games are concerned, that all the others have higher stars and this newer one's only got 3. And as much as you've added in to this game, I don't know. I have had more fun playing Resident Evil at this point. Trying to think if there's any other things. Like I've said, chat, I will continue to keep working on this channel for all of us. It's going to take some time to really build this. But rest assured, I will not stop. But remember, I can't do it without you guys. I can't do it without contributions from you guys, my supporters out there. Help me spread the news. Help me spread this across YouTube. Tell people where we're at once a week on Thursdays at this point right now. Maybe I could do it more as the channel grows, because right now I'm only capable of so much. Like being able to record a video on my phone and then coming here on the PC on Thursdays. But eventually, I want to get bigger or capable of doing more, where I could game on the PC and, still have a show. But right now, that's just a dream right now that's in my head of what I would like to do. That's an idea. These are things that have been I've dreamed of, and these are things that have been in my head, that have been in the works for this, because I knew I had to have a plan. I knew that eventually I would have to brace myself if my body was to let go in bad enough shape to where I would have to come up with some sort of backup plan. Was I ready to have to come up with a backup plan? No. But when you think about things sometimes, chat, are any of us ever really ready to come up with backup plans in life? I mean, when you think about it, are any of us ever ready for backup plans to have to come into play? Because sometimes in life, when you're not even ready for backup plans, things happen, and you just kind of like have to make the best of it when life tosses you a curveball. You could either catch it, you could either flinch, dodge it, or just let it hit you. But the real truth is, for me, I'm not letting this defeat me. That's why I'm doing this on the channel every single week. Once a week, Thursdays. This will be Thursday nights with Top Gamer Pro 2025. Come here to chat with me once a week on Thursday nights. It is going to be Top Gamer Pro show, where you can come once a week to talk with me and to pick my brain and just have a cool gaming chat about everything going on. Share your thoughts, share your opinions. You're more than welcome to come here and just have a friendly chat. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't play well with haters. And I don't like bullies, and I don't like mean people, because I don't believe that we should be mean. I believe that we should be able to share our opinions as if we were talking to each other face to face and just having a simple conversation, because that's what I'm all about. That's the side of me that you'll see through this. I will try to get out about 2 or 3 shorts a week if I can. I will try to get out at least 1 or 2 gaming videos a week. If you want to shoot me some opinions of games that I can look at, you could leave them in my chat, and I'll look at them, write them down. I can even look at them through the Xbox store, ones that I can see about looking into, that we can do on the channel. But I mean this. I'm willing to put in whatever it takes to do this. But remember, I can do this from contributions from anybody that comes to this channel and helps to support. But I am not twisting anybody's arm. I'm the nicest guy you could ever meet. I'm the coolest dude you could ever meet. Yeah, I might have these issues in my life, like depression and all this stuff. But I'll tell you what, I'm the coolest laid back gaming guy that you could ever meet. So the thing of it is, I'll do what I can. We'll see what games we can do that I can get out there. Like I said, I'm still doing a run on Standard Modern on Resident Evil 9, but I'm hoping to do much more over time, and hoping to continue to push forward, to get more stuff out. But I will try. It's just going to take me a bit of time to do so. But like I said, it's been awesome to have a community like you guys. It's been nice to share my opinions through shorts. Uh, just to come on and make a long form video. So, you guys are cool. You guys are awesome. And Iron Balls, Seth Monster, hey, keep up what you guys are doing. You guys are awesome too. You guys live in a different place, and the hours you guys put into this. Hey, you guys are brave for what you do. Staying up late, Mr. Iron Balls, I'll tell you. I don't know how you do it, dude. It gets to me after a period of time. I'm lucky if I can stay up, man. But, like I've said, other than those few things. And the thing of it is, I heard Grace stutter of like, what do I do? What's going on, man? Like, the little stutter you get from Grace, I don't really pay attention to that. Like, that's not something I pay attention to. Because it's not really something that bothers me. It's not something that is really something that gets on my nerves. Now, when you gotta outrun the shadow monster, that's when it gets a little bit chaotic and crazy. Outrunning that darn shadow monster, that's when it gets crazy. But other than that, it's not bad other than that. So it's not terrible, except for when you gotta try and run as fast as you can to outrun that darn shadow monster. So, but like I said, I will try to balance out a schedule. I will try to adhere to the schedule, but we all know sometimes things can get in the way. Doctor's appointments, being a father, so I have to get my kid to his doctor's appointments. Even getting myself around to my doctor's appointments. So I'm usually a pretty busy individual. So, I try not to tie myself down too bad, but we all know, that can tend to happen. Irregardless. So, but now we're getting into, we're almost near an hour in. But you can feel free to drop in. You can have a conversation pretty much with me anytime during this show. I have no problem with people bringing subjects into here. If there's things you want to discuss or asking questions, I have no problem with it. All I ask is that you keep it clean and you keep it nice. Because I don't go for any disrespect. That's the only thing. But yeah, pretty much a lot of the stuff you heard me air, that's pretty much the stuff I needed to get out the way in the first half of this. About Resident Evil and the way Grace runs and stuff like that, and how it would be nice if they would give her a little more capabilities when it comes to their weapons and stuff like that. I like how they gave the pack for $15 where you could get certain costumes, certain weapon skins, stuff like that. That was pretty cool. The only thing that I don't like is how they added the infinite ammo. Now, in a survival horror game, the logic is survival. Why would you do bullets, infinite bullets for a survival horror? That's the only gripe I have with that is, to do something like that in a survival horror game. Now, I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with that one, but I entirely disagree. I mean, yeah, you run out of bullets, it's hard to kill the zombies, but that's the purpose. You have to learn to survive on very little. Because that's pretty much the aim of it. So that's pretty much what they do. Yeah, they have you do that and have you have so many bullets in your clip so that way you learn how to survive with what you're given. So, the infinite ammo in Resident Evil, that is definitely one thing that I am not on par with. But all the other stuff, like the costumes, the weapon skins, Demetrescu for Grace, I was down with that for the $15 thing. But other than that, I mean, I was down with the rest of it, except for the infinite ammo type of thing. But that right there is cool to me. Now, I've also been seeing what Division or Tom Clancy, what they've been doing with the Tom Clancy series for Division 2. How they're now adding newer things into that. So now that's kind of making me consider going back onto some Division 2. Now, I could take this to a poll if you guys would be down for that. But I would need an answer from my audience if you guys would be down for something like that. So basically in the chat, if you can understand that, basically what I'm saying is, would you guys like to see a Division 2 video? Yes or no? So you can answer that in the chat if there's any of you out there that um, basically are seeing this. So if you want to see a Division 2 video, yes or no, go ahead and give me an answer in the comments or the live chat below, or the live chat you see, and just let me know. Because I am willing to go check out Division 2 eventually and see what's going on over there, see what's jamming over there. Since I've been hearing so much rumblings over there about some stuff going on. So I'd like to check out that scene over there, see what's going on, to check it out. Because Division 2 in itself, if anyone is in my audience, it's a huge fan of it. It's also another favorite go-to game of mine that I've also sat and jammed with and ran missions for quite a few hours, especially when I'm like needing to really feed that hunger for a war type of third person shooter game. Division 2 is like my type of thing. Always has been, always will be my type of thing whenever I gotta feed that hunger. So, but just let me know in the comments down below if it's something that you would like to see put up on the channel at some point. If it is, it's down there for you guys to take a vote on it. So, I'm not sure if I got anything else that I wanted to say or discuss about at the moment. Because right now, there's not too much heating up, but I know as time, a little more time moves forward, you'll probably start seeing a little more coming. And the reason why I say that is because as we crawl closer and closer to the release date for Forza Horizon 6, then you'll start hearing more. And then eventually, once we get closer to the summer showcase, you'll also start seeing more. So, yeah, you'll start seeing more stuff happening as we draw closer to that event, and as we draw closer to the release of Forza Horizon 6. So, hopefully I can get back in the swing of the wrestling games again, but I'm not getting my hopes up. At least not for that one. So, trying to think in my head if there was any other things that I could think of that I needed to discuss or talk about. And then eventually I will be working on getting a nicer camera. That's to come eventually for the channel. Not right now, but eventually that's to come. Like I said, I'm slowly building things. I'm not going to be building them up, like jumping jack flash. But I will be slowly doing things, over time. Because it takes time to build a channel. It takes time. It takes a lot of time and work in doing this. So, but I'm really excited, for what the future is going to hold as the next couple of months go by and we start seeing the progression of Xbox and Sony. Now, I'm not a hater of any video game industry, but the only thing that gets me is whenever I keep hearing about people saying, "Oh, my game's not working right," or "There's all these bugs in it." Oh, sorry. But people would be like, "Oh, my game's not running right. There's all these bugs in it, or all these issues in it." When I start hearing that out of people, it upsets me because it's like, come on, big wigs. If you can't see that people are complaining about your product, but no, because it's like, they're still going to go for line in their pocket. Profit over complaints. That's what it is. You can't win for losing. And there's other things too out there. But just because I game on Xbox does not mean that I don't think that Sony does a terrible job. They do a good job. They've done some great work. Even Nintendo has. But the way I look at it is everyone is going to struggle. Why? Because out in the world today, where everything is held under a microscope. Now, mind you, a microscope. Because everything is getting looked at with such a major little, with like the most major, or the most little fine detail. Because if it's not to the liking of a bigwig, a billionaire, if it's not to where, how do you put it? If something is not to the liking of someone in charge, then that person in charge isn't even going to bother. Because they'll be like, "What's this? I told you to make this into this. I didn't tell you to make this into that. Do me a favor, go back and make it again." And then most of the time people are these people that get treated like that, if they make it, I'm getting tired. I might end this here in a little bit, Jack, because I've been having a rough few days here. But if it's not made to the way that the boss in charge likes it. You know what he does to that employee? That employee comes back, and if that product is still on that software is still on the same shape, you know what the boss does? You know what, you sorry good for nothing? Do me a favor, pack your desk, pack your stuff, go. I told you twice not to make it this way. Get your stuff, get out of my building. I can replace you. And that's exactly what the boss does. Because the thing of it is, in big business, you're just a number. You're not a person, you're a number. So you keep screwing up, you're just going to remain a number, and eventually you're going to be out of the job. That's why these people that work in these environments like this, when they go to create these games for these extended periods of time, it makes it rough because it's easy to slip up while going and doing something or creating something. Because it's the pressure of getting it done fast enough. Not quality or detail, but the way that the boss pushes them. Because it's about pace and productivity in the workplace instead of quality. Because the quality goes down the crapper when the boss wants it out within a certain amount of time to get it into the market to sell it. That's the way that a lot of it happens. That's why most games wind up with glitches in them, bulgy spots, or blocky spots. Is because of the fact that these bosses push the pressure. And they push a little bit too much pressure sometimes. And if you have a certain tolerance of what you'll put up with or take, that's why you ever seen what they call as workplace rage. After a while, that person in the workplace is going to snap because of the fact that they're only going to be able to tolerate so much of that boss, and then they're going to lose it because they're not going to tolerate the disrespect for them working their job as well as they can, and doing it with the pressure on their back. So, but the main focus here is quality. And I'm hoping that when Asha Sharma does go around looking at these studios, I'm looking for the original quality games to come back to Xbox again. That good quality that brought the awe and shock factor to the games that they had. And I think it's about time that we have someone like Asha Sharma that's not afraid to ask the real tough questions. The questions that need to be asked. Now, is she going to go in there and bust somebody's nuts or bust somebody's like chops? Is she going to make them kind of tremble and shake? No. She's not going to go in there and be that kind of a boss. But she is going to get to the truth. I have a feeling she's going to get to the truth and find out why games haven't been widely bought, why people are not invested in them, why people are not wanting to put the long playtime hours into them. Because you better bet she's going to question these things to figure out why from these studios. You know, why these things are not even selling at the rate that they should be selling at. Like Xbox had some big titles at one time that they would sell their titles like crazy. I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, or I should say back in a certain period, when I was younger, I was a teenager, and GameStop. I can remember people going into GameStop, putting a certain amount of money down on a video game at GameStop. You would reserve your copy before the game would even release. And when you put that money down on that game, that reserved you one copy to where they would call you the second your copy arrived. And then what you would do is you would go pick up that copy at the store and be able to pay for it and take it home. Those days were cool. You know, because those were the days that you couldn't wait for. Because that game you would go pick up, that game was yours. When you got it, that game was yours. That game title belonged to you. That was yours to enjoy and yours to get hours out of. You know, that was your game that you were going to play hours and hours of. Those were the fun times of gaming. And then when you couldn't afford games, you would rent them for a decent price to where you could have them for a certain amount of time. You know, these are all cool things that made it to where you could still be a gamer and didn't have to strain yourself to be a part of the gaming world. It made it easier until you were able to start having a console in your home, building your own library up, and doing it all yourself. So, but I think I'm just going to chill for tonight. We did do a decent stream, about an hour and 14 minutes. But let me know in the comments down below if you would like to see a Division 2 video dropped or not. Tune in every Thursday. I'll have this show going. Like I said, I will try to drop at least 2. If I do drop 3 shorts during the week, I will keep an eye out for games or whatever that come out. But other than that, check out games. You know, see what's out there. You know, hopefully you can connect and make friends, you know, when it comes to games and all that. So, I really don't know what else I could be really talking about, but thank you for hearing me out. Thank you for allowing me to come on here and discuss a few things about the channel, and allowing me to come on here and vent out and say some things of what I agree with, what I don't agree with. But anyway, take care and enjoy the rest of your week. But it would be very, I would be very appreciative if you would help by sharing, clicking the like button, and make sure your notification bell is switched to all, so that way you will always be notified when new videos arrive on the channel. So that way you don't miss out on anything. Like I said, as far as subscribing or whatever, it's your personal choice if you like the content. I will try to do better with these over time, but like I said, starting out small, but hoping, we can make this better and that we can grow more and more. But take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. Don't try to work too hard. Don't try to go too crazy. But remember, if you feel yourself going a little too crazy, just pick up that controller, whether it is a DualShock controller for a PS4 or an Xbox controller, or just going and getting yourself calm on PC a little bit. Just do something to calm yourself down, or jam the music and bob your head, or whatever you got to do to keep yourself from going crazy. But come join Top Gamer on Thursdays for a live discussion, and just keep that notification bell switched to all, so that way every time I drop new videos or shorts, you guys will always be notified. Take care. Top Gamer